Well, hi, and welcome to the 2023 Lionsgate ceremony and ritual. This is when we honor the peak of the energy during what is known as the Lionsgate portal. That portal opens every single year on July 26th, and the 8th is the strongest point. We call it the power point, the point of potential. And I always laugh because my mom, rest her sweet spirit, was in labor with me all day at the peak of the Lionsgate. I was born on August 9th, early in the morning. So I think it's kind of cool that Sage Goddess was founded the day before the start of the Lionsgate portal, and I was born the day after. So I'm your bookend. I am your living, Sage Goddess and I are your living virtual bookends for this. I want to talk first about what the Lionsgate is, and then we're going to do some ceremony and ritual. If you have your tools for tonight's, pardon my books, if there's an Athena anywhere, there's books. Some people buy too many clothes. Some people buy too many shoes. I buy too many books. I do love to read. Don't you love to read? It's my one of my self-care practices actually is to read. So I encourage you to become a reader too. This is everything that we're working with tonight. We're actually going to work with, I'm going to work with the apophyllite necklace that came with the kit, your Lionsgate kit, as a pendulum tonight. You don't have to do that. You could be wearing it. It is such an effective pendulum for me that I'm just going to do a little pendulum reading with you. And I'm going to invite you, when I do that, to hold a question and see what the pendulum speaks for you. This kit came with all the components for the grid that you see here, including the Tibetan quartz generator, all of the stones we're going to grid with tonight. This is my personal tool to activate the grid. But you got your mat with our gorgeous Lionsgate art, and I always have to give just a huge shout out to our graphic design team because they're so talented. Look how beautiful the art is. And we always have an octahedron. Octo in Greek is 8, so that's an 8-sided polyhedron. And then your candle, your perfume. And that's all you need. If you do not have the tools, what I'm going to tell you is do the ceremony with me anyway. Charge up something you've got. The stones of the hour for us today are really manifestation stones. So I just want to invite you to have your tools ready. If you do not have any of those tools, the stones you're going to want to work with tonight, I would invite you in to think about apophyllite. Obviously, it's one of my favorite stones. I wrote about it in my new book called Crystalpedia, which if you have not pre-ordered yet, please go and pre-order wherever you like to buy books online. I wrote about apophyllite as one of the not new, but the most important next level ascension stones. Once you're done working with the Synergy 12, I've got a new set for you called the Activation 11, and that's one of them. I love yellow apatite from Mexico. It's one of my favorite manifestation stones. We're also working with a different kind of apophyllite. We're working with little pink apophyllites tonight. We are working with rhodozite, which is a little fast forward button on your spiritual journey, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's really small. You might be like, it's so small, how can that be such a powerhouse? It really, really is. We're working with golden anhydro quartz, and then Tibetan quartz, which a lot of you are going to work with Lionsgate energy to call in healing, to manifest healing. And I'm right there with you. And so if that's what you're working on tonight, what I'm going to say now to you as I burn a little sage and get us ready, because this is a proper ceremony, I really want you to think tonight, if you could manifest anything in your life at this moment, if you could manifest anything. And one of my favorite teachers I never met is Dolores Cannon. Would really encourage you to look her up. There's lots of cool videos on YouTube. I think she was one of the great spiritual teachers of our time. And she broke everything down in such a super simple way. She was kind of a no muss, no fuss girl, and that's part of what I like about her. She wasn't really even very airy-fairy. She was just down to earth and told it like it was and had all these profound experiences as a hypnotist with her clients. What Dolores teaches us is that you can manifest anything. The universe is this big vibrating ball of unmanifest potential. And you don't manifest alone. I mean, you set intentions and then you give the universe kind of permission to take those energies, those intentions, like little seeds, and plant them and then, see how they go, right? Like I plant a lot. I'm a gardener. And I like to plant a lot of seedlings and a lot of cuttings and see what happens. And I usually have a 60 to 70% success rate of like what I think is going to grow. And that's kind of my manifestation rate too. You know, I'm constantly planting seeds of, I claim this part of my health, or I claim this relationship, or I want to feel this energy, or when I walk into a room, I want people to sense this, or I want my children to, when I hold them at night, I want them to feel this, or you know, like whatever state of awareness or experience or consciousness I'm trying to manifest, I try to be really conscious and articulate about it, and then I give it to the universe and go, now go with that. You know, like, this is the broad strokes picture of what I'm trying to do here, but the universe actually does more with what we intend than we can, because it's bigger, because it knows how to harness resources in a way that I find as a human, I don't always know how to harness resources as well as it does. I'm not omnipotent and I'm not omniscient. I'm not all powerful and I'm not all knowing. So within the boundaries and barriers of my own humanity and my humility, I give everything to the universe, but I still have a great cosmic wish list of like, these are all the things I would love to experience: health, wealth, abundance, joy, sex, passion, desire, excitement, creation, and then do with that what you will. And so first we clear the energy. And then I want you to think about, if you don't have tonight's tools, what do you have in your collection that can, like quartz, be programmed, right? Maybe you've got a beautiful quartz pendant, or you've got a quartz point that you just love, or a wand in your collection that's super. This is my favorite wand in my collection. You know, whatever it is for you that really, it's got your juice, right? It's got your vibe. It's got your imprint on it. Quartz is so great because it's programmable. So whatever work we do together tonight at the Lionsgate can really be held in that stone. It's one of the strongest vibrational materials to work with, and that's why there's so much quartz in your grid. But it also has this capacity to be imprinted upon, so it can hold the vibration and frequency of the energies you're trying to raise. Having said all of that, diamonds are super great too. They're also on my activation 11 list. They also, you know that I wear diamonds on both hands and around my neck. Diamond for me is a master healer. So I'm constantly trying to create this triangle between my wrists and my neck to build this pyramid of light. And we can talk about that another time. But I think that's an important way for you to also think, if you have, it doesn't have to be big. Like I got a little tiny diamond here. Doesn't have to be big, but diamond, because it's such a carbon heavy material, and it's built and created under the most strain, duress, and pressure that you can possibly imagine. It is a gift of this planet to teach you what you're capable of under pressure. And the Lionsgate teaches us that, you know, not all manifestation comes through ease. Sometimes we have to work for it too, right? We have to hunt our prey. We don't just, the lion magnetizes, but it also goes out and looks for what it's wanting, right? And it claims what it's taking. And so sometimes there's pressure. I always say I perform well under pressure, and some of you may be the same way. I do well with a little stress. But some people don't, you know, under pressure, they buckle and they get paralyzed. So it's like the Lionsgate is teaching us to take and alchemize. Let's put it this way. Our universe was born of explosions, right? Take and alchemize the intensity of the experiences of your life right now. The pressure, the strain, the stress, the duress. And if you can imagine it, and if it resonates with you in your heart space, and if you're here, it probably does on some level. Imagine taking all of that energy and transforming it into usable light and potential. So like taking the stress and transforming it into grace, right? If you think about lions, and look at your grid and your art, right? If you think about how lions move, watch some YouTube videos if you've never seen a lion in the wild. First of all, to get a lion to get up, it's got to be important. Lions are usually resting. And when they get up, I've told you this before, and I'm a Leo, so I feel like I understand them very well. If I could have them as a pet, I would. To get a lion to get up, first it puts its one big paw down, and then its other big paw down, and then it lifts itself up. And it doesn't do that for nothing. Now it's going after what needs to happen, right? Something got its attention, and now those huge paws are up, and it's going to move forward, right? There's so much power. It doesn't waste its potential and power, but it uses it when it needs to. And lions know how to alchemize. Lions can kill anything. They're one of the biggest predators. But did you know that most lions choose not to? Lions actually use discernment. They do not kill unless they have to. They use incredible restraint with that passion and power and strength that they have. They most often choose in the wild not to kill. And so like, how do we take that? How do we take the stress, transmute it into grace? How do we take the anger and transmute it into love? How do we take the strength, right? The raw power and transmute it into usable energy for manifestation? How do we use the least amount, right, of the intensity to create the biggest impact and output? These are the questions of the Lionsgate. I could go on and on and on, but I do have so much to tell you tonight. So what is the actual Lionsgate? Let's just take a minute here. So when stars and planets align, star Sirius is associated with Christ consciousness. It is believed to be the star that the wise men, the magi, who were shaman, followed to find Christ. Okay, so they all followed this light. They found Christ in the manger, and the rest, we know the story. So when star Sirius rises above the horizon, okay, that heliacal rising, and if you're up early enough in the morning during this period, you can see Sirius above the horizon. It is the brightest star, okay? When Sirius and the Orion's belt and Earth are all in alignment, which is what happens during the Lionsgate, that's what we call this period. And the sun is in Leo, so that's also why there's that Leo energy. There's a couple things you can do beyond tonight's ritual to kind of harness this magic too. Give something back to the earth. You're going to get blessings out of this portal, and that's exactly what this period is. It's a portal. It's a divine opening. It's sort of like a tear in the matrix, right? So we peer through this portal. We put energy in through the form of intention. We pull energy out through the form of manifestation. It's nice to give something back, and so these are little petals from my mom's dahlia plant that honestly bloomed for the first time this year since she passed away, so it's been a couple of years. This is a little rose petal from a rose bush that she gave me. These are some white sage leaves from my dad's plant that he planted for me. So these are just my little offerings. I'm going to let these dry and then give them back to the earth at the end of the Lionsgate period. You can choose to work with whatever you have. Like, go out in your garden, see what's alive and blooming right now. We're in high summer in the northern hemisphere, and then let those things dry, and then consider, you can keep some of them to make an incense, and then let the rest of them go back to the earth as a way of saying thank you. If you're in my programs, you know how to open the earth properly, ceremonially, and give things back, and I think that's a beautiful way of saying thank you, is through the gesture of returning to the earth her own offerings. Leos teach us about leadership, creativity, manifestation, and how to rest in our power, right? One question, and they also teach us, Leos teach us a couple of other things. How to walk your talk. Don't just say it, do it. How to dance your dance. I dance to a different beat than most people, and growing up, I always felt like so different from everybody else. And sometimes I would look at people and think, maybe I just need to be more like her or more like him. And so I would try to dress like other people or like do my hair like other people until I got to an age where I was like, I think I'm just supposed to be me. And I think that's part of this grand rising of this, of Sirius in the sky, to remind you, like, actually who you are and however you love to be is perfect. There's no need to change or to please people or to accommodate other people's expectations. And one question I like to ask at the Lionsgate, just because it's such a Leo Lionsgate question, are your paws dirty enough? My puppy works with a trainer who's really talented. And one day he came home and my puppy came home and my trainer was just like in the dirt all day. You know what I mean? Sorry, not sorry. Like, he's a mess. And he had just had a bath. And I said, this is actually the best thing, right? He had so much fun. His paws are proof He had a good day. He had fun. He was in the dirt and rolling around and playing with other dogs. Like, the mark of a really great, well-lived life isn't that your paws are super clean. Actually, the mark of a great day is that your paws are dirty, right? It means you rolled around and you dug in. And so are your paws dirty enough? Or do you need to dig in a little bit more, be a little bit more playful, let go of some of the restrictions and the boundaries? And even if you've just had a bath, maybe you need to roll around in the dirt a little bit more and get a little bit more dirt under your claws and your paws. Remember, too, that 8-8, the sacred day in the tarot, the 8 card is the strength card of the major arcana, which is the goddess taming the lion. This is about you being able to tame wild and sometimes tense forces in your life for the greatest good. 8 in astrology, the 8th house is Scorpio. That's also the house of transformation. So something is shifting and changing. If you take the number 8 and turn it horizontal, that's the infinity symbol. That's also above the woman on the strength card in the tarot. She sees infinite possibilities. 8 as a life path number is someone who attracts wealth and abundance. And also, when Sirius went through this rising each year in Egypt, in ancient Egypt, it was known as Sopdet. And it began what's known as the rising of the Nile. So in Egypt, this was always seen as a sacred, holy week when the Nile would begin to rise, which would irrigate the land and allow for really the most powerful farming and harvest season to begin, because the Nile was the main source of irrigation for all crops and food in the Nile region. And so that is why, those are all the reasons why we celebrate the Lionsgate each year. I'm glad you're here. So let us not delay. I'm going to open our circle when I invite you to roll your shoulders back, call your energy into present time. And, when we do ceremony like this, it's not a simple ceremony, but I'm just gently going to call in all guardians from all directions. So guardians of the east to help us open the circle. And a breath there. Calling in the guardians of the south to anchor that direction and bring in creativity, passion, desire. All the fire. And a nice deep breath there. And then calling in all the guides and guardians of the west, right? To bring in again that energy of water and irrigation and supply and support and abundance and everything from the west, including emotional healing and renewal. And a deep breath there. Guides and guardians of the north to anchor us, ground, protect us, bring us peace, patience, and perseverance. And a deep breath there. And because we're working in that octahedral space, as above, so below, so we've got the horizontal axis going. Now we're going to do the vertical axis. So guides and guardians of the upper realms, the Akash, the realm of spirit, we call you in to bring in miracles for manifestation. And then guides and guardians of the lower world and realms, we call you in, right, to anchor us into the realm, the world of the minerals and the bones. Deep breath there. And so all planes operating now, right, moves us into an interdimensional space, time outside of time, place outside of place. And our circle is open. So we're going to get right to it, darling. I'm going to light our candle. This is our guiding light candle. This is honeysuckle for well-being, sweet pea for positive energy, hyacinth for removing negative thought patterns, cedar for grounding and protection, and also prosperity. So just giving that a light. I love how the wick just comes when we call it. And then our guiding light perfume, which again is honeysuckle, hyacinth. And then there's a special oil from Africa in here called Arena, which is for reaching your full potential in life. We imported it just for this blend. So a little bit at our wrist for what we do, a touch at our third eye for what we know, and a little at our ankles to bless our steps. The beauty way for blessing where we go. Blessed thoughts, blessed actions, blessed steps. Okay, now, placement, if you haven't done gridding before, first of all, I've got fun videos on gridding, and I teach it in my classes, sagegoddess.com/livingmagic. My class, Crystalpedia, you'll learn so much. But for the meantime, what you have to know is when you have, this is all sacred geometry, right? Again, octahedron, octo, is 2 times 4, right? Because it's a polyhedron. We always want to put our generator right in the middle. That's our point of power. And then our other stones that we have for our grid are going to go around. And we always work in either 2s or 4s when we're doing gridding. So we have 4 main crystals. Again, that's our Pachymer crystal. And we're going to just put these at the 4 directions. Our Magnetite for attraction, our yellow apatite for manifestation, and our rhodozite to do it all faster. Out at the 4 corners, you can put them in the other directions if it feels better to you. Then these sweet little pink apophyllite clusters, love them so much. I'm putting them in between all of those points. Pink apophyllite brings in the divine feminine energy of ascension. Think of all the ascended masters of the female line, right? The Kuan Yin is my favorite. Of course, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, I also think of as an ascended master who works within these realms and dimensions. And then we put our 4 quartz points at north, south, east, and west. In the room here, this is west, just so you know, the Pacific Ocean is right there. So those are my directions. You can and should follow your own directions. And that is our grid all set up. Now, you don't have to do this. This is like me. But I do like to take my perfume blend. I'm going to pull my candle off to the side. And I like to just put a little bit of the blend at the 4 corners of my grid. And just a little bit right at the tip of my generator. Just anchoring, because essential oils are vibrational and they have energy too. So just anchoring the energy right there with the oils as well. Now, what's fun about having a pendulum, hold on, let me close my chain. What's fun about having a pendulum, darling, and again, this is a pendant and pendulum. Oh, it broke. Well, I'm gonna hold it. My chain broke, but that's okay. I'm sure yours is fine. And if yours does break for any reason, you can put it on a different chain or just do what I'm doing and hold it at the top. Is you can ask yes and no questions. For me, when it goes north and south like this, that's yes. Show us no. And then please show us I don't know. Goes around in circles. Let me just ask a test question. Okay, so is this grid complete in its current form? And it says yes. It's a really nice way of just saying, is there anything else that's needed? And if it says no, you can go around your other stones and ask, do I need to add this or add this? Do I need to take this out? And then use your intuition and kind of follow that. So that's one way to work with our pendulum. If you have a double terminated quartz point, I'm going to invite you now to take that and move off to the side. So we can do this directly over. Right here with you. And I am going to send the energy of this grid to you through the camera. So if you don't have a grid to set up, you'll still receive some of this energy, but it gives you a good, vibrational template for how to set up your own grid at home. Great Spirit, God, Goddess, and Source of all that is. In this moment, we welcome you into this space. We ask that you bless this grid. I'm going to set my intention for the grid. You can also set your intention right now as well. And we ask for these things in service of our highest good and the highest good of all beings on this planet at this time. Aho. So we work outward and inward clockwise, and I'll show you how it goes. I call in the energy of Tibetan quartz for divine and master healing, out to quartz for magnification. Back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to rhodozite to speed it up, baby, fast forward on that manifestation, out to quartz, Tibetan quartz for master healing. Out to pink apophyllite for divine feminine energy, spiritual ascension and back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to quartz for magnification and programming, back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to this beautiful Pachymer to bring in divine light and radiance, and back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to pink apophyllite for divine feminine, ascended master energy, and back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to quartz for programming and manifestation, back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to magnetite to call in and magnetize everything I seek in this moment and need for my intentions and desires, and yours as well, back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to pink apophyllite for divine feminine, ascended master energy, and back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to quartz for magnification and programming, back to quartz, Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to yellow apatite for divine manifestation, back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, out to pink apophyllite for divine feminine and radiant energy of the ascended masters, and back to Tibetan quartz for master healing, and out to quartz for programming and manifestation. We always end where we began, and back to Tibetan quartz for master healing. What you've done is you've made a web. You realize that, right? Can't see it because you're third dimension, but it just happened and the lions are holding it. With this grid activated, we call in our deepest desires tonight. I'm going to be really quiet for a minute. If there's any other energies that you are calling in at this time, space, moment, please hold those now. This is your power moment, y'all. Don't get a lot of portals like this every year. Dream big. You can't overwhelm this universe. It's here to support you. What do you need? Did you feel that? Yeah. Sometimes you have to really sit and just enjoy these moments. I do these ceremonies online really in service to you, and it's a pleasure because I can feel the magnetizing of the energy and everything that you're calling in. And I just ask that everything works together for your good. That you just have a really huge capacity just to really be in a state of trust right now. Okay. Amenaho, and so it is. Let's ask the pendulum right now, is there anything else that we need to do with this grid? It says no. And then if you would like to just ask a question and hold a question in your heart, I'm going to let the pendulum just respond. Can you feel into the questions on the hearts of those who are watching? It's saying yes. Just feels like a sweet long yes to whatever you're asking, doesn't it? Shifting to a no, so whatever the questions are turning to. I feel like there's a big energy around you just needing to let go of fear and just trust the process. Yeah. Is that accurate, Spirit? Yeah. It feels good. Feels right. All right. Woo. This grid's going to remain active for me. Don't be touching my grid. There's a lot of energy in that little grid over there. I don't know if you can feel it. What I do want to do, though, before I sign off, is I want to collect the energy of this grid. So I'm taking it through the widest point of my Vogel, and I'm going to send it to you through the narrow end. So if you have something you want to charge, do this with the other camera. If you have something you want to charge with that energy, here it is for you. It's my gift from my heart to yours. Blessings at the Lionsgate. Truly. May the fire burn in your heart. And bless you in all the ways. Thank you, Sirius. Thank you to all the guides and guardians for being here and present, releasing the lower world and the upper world with gratitude, releasing the north, the west, the south, and the east with gratitude, unwinding the circle to open the space, but asking that the blessings continue to pour and flow and rise like the waters of the Nile to bless you and your harvest this season. Thank you for being here for Lionsgate. The little Earl Grey cheers from me and my space to you. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of this day. And thank you for being part of our community. If you enjoyed everything you saw here today, I hope you'll subscribe to our channel. We do a lot of this fun at Sage Goddess. We've been doing it for 12 years. We do it with love and intention. The beautiful magnetite pendants that I've charged and I'm charging here, been all the way through the ceremony, are available for you at sagegoddess.com. And if you want to learn more about crystals, you can join my online class called Crystalpedia, which is also the title of my 4th book, which is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and all the places that you love to buy books around the world. And I want to thank you for your support and your presence always. Get your paws dirty. I'll see you soon. Happy Lionsgate.